Hello again, YouTube. So I want to get into some do's and don'ts of being broke and when you broke. And I got a list. I was just talking loosely on part one, but now I got a list on part two. So we're gonna start out from the list and some of the stuff I already said, but now that I got the list, we're going to get into the list, and I'm going to do a short about this as well. So the first thing I got on the list, which I talked about in part one, don't hang out hardly at all. You know, you can't go to every funeral. People be, and then you be like, how I be thinking, I done been to funerals, and people be acting funny. I'm like, man, are you serious? This is what I'm thinking to myself. Like, funerals, you can't go to every funeral, man. They gone. Like, go to the ones that's the most important to you. Nothing against nobody, but you can't go to a funeral every time somebody dies, because that's like a 6-hour thing. Now, my auntie, when my cousin mother died, you know, I'm related to his dad, but here in Milwaukee, listen, if you related by association, you related. Like, if you was like had kids with my uncle and y'all got along and stuff like that, which they broke up, but she was always an auntie, so I went to her funeral, no doubt about it. And that's like my first cousin. We grew up close, you know, so I went. But you can't go to every barbecue. You can't go to every wedding. You can't go to every funeral when you're broke, because these things will make you even broker. You can't take people everywhere they ask you to go. These people don't care about your money. They don't care about your money. Number two is, don't spend your money impulsively. Like, you gotta, like, what we need to do, especially when you broke, everything that you spend, you should have a record of it. Like, even the junk you buy, ice cream, candy, sodas. If we had a budget for that, and once you run out of money for that budget, then you don't buy nothing else until you get paid in terms of that. And let me see. So, third, don't try to keep up with the Joneses. You know, buy the clothes you can afford. Don't be trying to buy name brand and you broke. Well, I can only wear name brand. Well, you're going to be broke. How you got some $1,000 glasses on and you don't got $1,000? Like, people will take their tax return, and you trust me, man, I'm the truth, man. Some of this stuff is stuff I did. So they'll take their tax return and they'll go, because they got $7,000. I'm getting these buff glasses, $1,000 glasses. No. Like they say, the rule of thumb is, if you can't buy, some people say 5. Some people say 10. Like, if you can't afford 5, you can't afford 1. Some people say 2, if you can't afford 2 of them. So the next thing I have is, don't spend a lot of money on food. Have them cutback days where you eat stuff that you either barely like or you don't like. Because I'm telling you, people be arguing. This was weird about this. This why I would advise you to just think twice about the marriage thing, because y'all be arguing about money, and it'll make it more intense when you know they making mistakes too. So if a person comes to you and criticizing you about money, and you know they making mistakes too, that's gonna make y'all argument even more intense. So just, you don't have to be married, man. Think of something else, like have concubines, and she live in her place, you live in yours. and make her earn that commitment of marriage. So don't spend a lot of money on food. Like, you can't go to these high-end restaurants. I ain't gonna name none because I make a lot of money through these restaurants, but who's keeping score? So don't spend a lot of money on food. And the next thing I have is don't take uncalculated risk. If you're gonna take any type of risk, make sure that you done weighed it all out and you done planned it. Don't just go and do like an uncalculated risk, like you Powerball is 100 billion, and you go take $1,000 and you only got 1,100. Don't do stuff like that. That's called uncalculated risk. Next, like I said in the first one, do get a second job or side hustle. Like, don't listen to, again, these girls, oh, you don't spend time with me. Even, okay, watch this. You spend time with them, you broke. You spend time with them, you broke. If you don't spend time with them, you never there. See, it's a double-edged sword. So I'm taking getting my money right, not spending that much time. So the next thing I have is pay yourself first. It's a do. Pay yourself first. And don't be one of those people that you done put up 100, you done gave yourself $100. And now you saw something that cost $100 and you think because you had that $100, or you done did it like 7 times, you got 700, that now you could get that thing that cost 100. No, when you broke, you have to learn how to plan. Remember, uncalculated, that's like a risk. You putting your money and your future finances at risk by making dumb purchases. So when you pay yourself first, if you're going to pay yourself and spend it, have 2 pay yourself first accounts. 1, you just going to save it and you ain't going to touch it. 2, it's just going to be stuff that you want to buy down the line. And set a dollar amount. When you get 500 in that stuff you want to buy, now go and spend that 100, because that's what that's for. But if you do it the other way, it's uncalculated risk. So next thing, save as much as you can and invest some. We talked about that. That's a do. Then I have live within your means, even if you have to file bankruptcy to do it. That is going to be a do as well. So if your bills end up being more than your money, then that's what they call bankrupt. So you have to file bankruptcy to keep them from coming after you, making you all the way broke, and just giving yourself another start. But don't be the type of person that leans on bankruptcy, though. You know, I've had to do it. Sometimes you just got to do it. Don't worry about none of your relatives, especially if you black, because black people don't be helping each other like that. So don't worry about nothing they gonna say. You do what's best for you. Black people always it's crazy how black families, like, right, help each other the least out of the races. But they had the most to say about your situation, my situation. So don't worry about them. If you got to file bankruptcy to come out on top and smelling like a rose the second time around, do what you got to do. But anyway, that's all I had. I think I covered this series very well. This is The Truth Man. The channel is the No Matrix, No Simping, All Subjects channel.